GM everyone, welcome to Emergence Unchained. My name is Sagar. Today we are talking about something that is quietly breaking Web3 from the inside, that is identity, right? Who is real, who is fake, who is a bot, and why it matters most. Um, you know, uh, Even after whatever is happening in the AI space, I think it is more prominent as of now. And to talk more about this, I have my guest today, Victor Vernissage. He's the co-founder of Humanode. He
Hello,
has
everybody.
been working on this problem since 2017. That is long, before AI agent came into place and deepfake made into the mainstream. So hi, Victor. Can you tell
Hi.
us more about you and what brought you to Web3 and in crypto?
Sure. Well, I am traditional, let's say, I'm an economist at heart, and that's how I started my journey. I went to the university to study economics and international relations, but back then I understood that, of course, I want to be in IT. And I started doing different startups. Some of them were failures, some of them successes. But when we encountered crypto with my co-founder, Datu, who we worked together for all these years, we kind of decided to leave behind everything we had and go fully crypto.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
it really inspired us, especially back in the OG times when people here were mining at their
Yeah.
homes, at their
Uh,
basements.
good old ICO times, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So you're from Georgia, right? How's the
Mm.
crypto scene there?
Oh, I'm from Moscow, from Russia originally, but yeah, I
Okay,
live
okay,
here in Georgia for a couple of years already.
okay.
The crypto scene here, we know about people living here, but we never meet. So most
Mm,
of the people here are like half anonymous,
mm,
and we usually meet each other in other countries on bigger conferences.
okay,
It's
okay.
it's a small country.
Yeah, yeah. It's a beautiful but small country. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, I'll just start with a one-liner, right? I'm sure you know AI explosion has taken over from since last year. Does it scare you or does it validate your thoughts?
I was scared back in 2013. I even had a slight depression because I read a lot on AI, and especially uh, I read a lot of Yudkowsky, who was warning about the rise of artificial general intelligence that can accidentally kill us all. So
Mm,
I pretty much not scared anymore because I'm just expecting it to come without a very optimistic glance at it, let's say.
yeah.
And now it's just happening, and well, I'm excited about how it goes so far. I won't say. I will say it finally gets to the quality where even chief technical officers agree to use it, which is what was a very hard to imagine 2 years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah, yeah, true. So I think it's not too long. I think back in I think not more than 12 months ago, AI agents they were just considered as a meme, and now they have wallets. They trade anonymously. They post content for everyone. They run communities. Some of them have more followers than most crypto founders now.
Oh, yeah.
So at what point does this become an identity crisis for us, right? For the whole internet and not just crypto.
Well, I think it has already become kind of an identity crisis. You never know who you're interacting with, especially if the configuration and fine tuning of the language of the agent is good.
Yeah,
And we just haven't reached the point where major platforms want to impose more identification of users. But that's going to happen pretty soon. I believe that well, the internet will divide into the dead internet and human internet, or at least we'll have identification methods of whether this post was actually posted by the human, but that would require hardcore every day, few times a day verification. So we should be prepared for it.
yeah, sure. I've been like yourself, I've been reading a lot about AI, and what keeps me up at night is where we are heading right now. Where the assumption sort of it is getting flipped. Instead of assuming everyone that is online is human, now we kind of know that majority of them are bots. Do you think we will be at that point where every everything that is online, it will be bots and not humans that are working for humans, basically.
No, of course, because do we want to only read what bots were writing without even humans checking them? I'm not
Yeah.
sure about it. I highly doubt it. It will be always the most high quality parts of the internet will be mixes, and humans are actually taking the job of, let's say, validators
Yeah.
of what AI wrote, created. So humans are in the beginning of the agent because somebody has to set it up, and humans are at the end of this agentic loop. Otherwise, you already see that Twitter is banning the
Yeah.
behavior that looks like automated. It tried to ban me for leaving just 2, 3 comments, my own comments, zero AI usage. So it will be like some kind of a sandbox here that each
Yeah.
platform will find out on their own how to handle it.
True. I think I was also reading about Nikita's tweet last night, if I'm not wrong. He mentioned that they will be tracking the records of every profile that is doing any sort of communication or doing any sort of posting, if it is automated or not, and they will shadow banning or banning those people. So at one point
At
they
the
are
same time, we have accounts that are explicitly automated, which
exactly,
they
exactly,
won't ban.
exactly.
Yeah, just rate limit them.
Yeah, exactly. At one point, they are basically promoting Grok to use all the AI tools, Claude bot and all the stuff, and way they are banning those people. So I think they are also trying to have a thin line where human and bots can coexist. Do you think they will be there ever will be a line there, when we will be having that line, or do you think AI will take over somehow?
It really depends on the platform because,
Yeah.
yeah, you can figure it out, especially, uh, once people use it more than right now, because what, maybe 1 in 100 people right now really use AI agents heavily. Okay,
Yeah.
most of the people just consult with ChatGPT or
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
ask Claude to write an article for them and then check it. But
Mm.
later on, more and more people will be able to use something like OpenClaw because it will be out of the box without
True.
any knowledge of how to set it up. And there are projects that get a lot of funding just being OpenClaw wrappers, which is not really hard
So
to create. So
have you tried setting up your own open cloud?
no, I haven't.
What
No, I haven't.
you haven't? You haven't
No,
bought
no, no,
that mini Mac yet?
no, 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 no.
No. Okay.
No,
I
I'm
think
too busy
both
to
are
play with it,
behind it.
to be
And
honest. Yeah.
okay,
And
I'm seeing a lot of people buying all those mini Macs and flaunting in front of CT and telling all about what they are setting up on open cloud. So yeah, I was just wondering if you have done the same.
no, no, no. I'm waiting a bit before the hype comes down to see
Yeah.
what actual benefit people get from it. Because
True, true,
I,
true.
I really like the posts where the person is, oh yeah, I set up the agent. The agent
Yeah.
started to earning
Yeah,
revenue.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
So
but what's
if
what's
if I
our
can,
what's our costs? What's our
yeah,
costs now? And he says, well, we lost $20,000 in one day. So,
yeah, exactly, exactly, exactly. Because they all are setting all those things up, but they don't mention, the cost that is being implemented while setting all those APIs and buying all those GPUs and all the stuff.
yeah.
So it is hard to believe what they are doing with it, other than flaunting it on CT, right? So coming to Web3, let's talk about whatever is happening on chain, right? Do you think projects or protocols they are inflating those numbers using AI bots farming? Do you think it is happening on chain as well, or is it something that they cannot do using those bots?
Web3 have been inflating numbers since its emergence. Okay, 2017. Even Tron did that in the beginning. Like all the
Yeah,
blockchains did that.
yeah.
And to be honest, you don't need AI to inflate the numbers. You just need a simple script. So
Hmm.
once projects actually have AI doing something useful on chain, this is when it's actually beneficial for everybody. It's
Yeah.
better than just inflating numbers.
Yeah. So you're saying it has been happening even before AI took place.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course, because inflating numbers is well, crypto is numbers game in terms of VCs want numbers,
Yeah.
investors want to see numbers to make decisions, exchanges want to big numbers because they're looking for new users all the time,
Yeah.
and uh, yeah, that's why we had the crazy numbers of, I don't know, hamster combat 150 million. There was not even, I think, a few million people actually playing in this game for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think I was reading it somewhere. I think today, there was a stat that more than 50% of the chains that are on that are working, they are making less than $1,000 per month, right?
Yeah,
Not a
yeah.
day, per month. So which is mind-boggling, because they are using all those heavy words to try and poach all those VCs, and in return they are barely making $1,000 a month, which is amazing to hear. And it's a
It's I'm not too surprised to hear that because layer one and the price for gas fees is
yeah.
just going to zero.
Mm. Mm.
And in this environment, even the biggest guys won't earn a lot of money. So eventually, I always saw layer ones and this infrastructure as a public good, first of all, not as a business. It's a pretty bad business.
Mm.
It might be the good business for Tron, but how long can you stay competitive when you have $1 almost transaction fee
Yeah.
and other networks has less than a cent, much less than a cent transaction fee? You just
Yeah.
can't. And I believe that Base spends maybe 10 times more money. They actually earn nice money from their
Yeah.
L2, but
Yeah.
I believe they spend much, much more money just to attract those projects
Yeah.
that
They,
actually
they
bring
have
a lot of
been spending a
transactions.
lot in marketing as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
expand their ecosystem. Yeah, that
So
makes sense.
unless you had a big exchange with real revenue behind it,
Mm.
you couldn't take the layer to such a level. And it's more like branding thingy
Yeah.
uh, than real business.
Real business. Right, right, right. So ever since, AI has come into picture, there is a certain trend that is going on, right? That everyone has to have the integrity of keeping their own identity, right? So they are talking about staying anonymous and not really, identify themselves. So how do you draw a line, right, where they are sharing enough data and not sharing everything, keeping their privacy, but not keeping it that private that it could be taken over by a bot. We don't
Hmm.
know that it's a human anymore. So how do you draw a line around that?
There are many off-chain credentials that we can privately verify, like we're doing Humanode, for example, and then put just information about you on chain. For
Mm.
example, whether you're over 18 years old or whether you're even a human or not. But eventually, even if you create such an account with your own identity, you can still plug in your agent there. Yes, you will have only one agent acting as you, but it still would not be a real human.
Mm.
So, to be honest, to eventually what you will have is in many applications, you will have built-in liveness or even uniqueness checks, biometric ones. They work just for 1-2 seconds, and you won't even notice it.
Yeah.
It's not like putting in capture, which is awful. Okay, it just seems like waste of your time, but it will be very fast biometric session. And I think this is the only way when we understand, okay, it was posted by a human, not by agent plugged into your account that the human verified. And about privacy, we have all the tech needed, to be honest. But companies don't care about it too much,
Yeah.
about both identity and privacy.
Mm.
I think now that the agents came, actually, the agents should be tied to a real person, because once agents start to scam a lot, like agents specially created to scam, governments will input a lot of regulations on agents so that you have to register actually your agent on your name and be responsible for its actions. And that's when probably only when governments will impose these rules on companies, they will start integrating different identity stack, because otherwise it's just an additional feature for them and not
Yeah.
in their current scope what will drive the revenue. Okay, this is not the thing that drives revenue. This is more a regulation thing, let's say.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I think they want the data, right, from you too. It's actually their currency, right? That is,
This is, well, yeah, yeah, and people are giving it away still pretty
yeah,
easily. And those who are not giving their data away easily, it's a handful of people and you can ignore them.
yeah.
So there should be a lot of bad things happening first in order for people to wake up and understand that
Mm,
we actually need a lot of ZK, a lot of encrypted servers, and all these things that are more expensive. That's why the cost will lie on the consumer eventually, as it always does. But there is no way around here. As you said, you will be either perceived as a bot,
yeah,
or you will have to prove you're not one.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Speaking of bots, speaking of crypto, and speaking of the communities that they have built, I've been running this marketing. By the way, I run a marketing agency, and we have worked with more than 75 projects as of now. And
Nice.
the most common thing that we have been seeing is, every project that we have, they have, let's say, 1 million followers on X, 500,000 followers on Telegram. It's all inflated. Everybody knows that, right? So how do you monitor this? How do you stop this? Because I think you already mentioned that, these are the numbers that are basically built to lure the BCs to just, give them a screenshot that we have 1.5 million user base on socials, which is I don't think they even have 1% of it, right? So how broken is this, right? And how do we even fix it?
You're right. This is completely broken. And even VCs, they don't believe it anyway. I saw the posts like, yeah, we saw your numbers.
Yeah,
Now what? How do you prove? How many people do you actually have?
yeah.
So, I mean, the easiest thing the projects do with our tech, so we have Bot Basher,
Hmm.
which is the integration with Discord. And it simply gives user a role on your server if you go through biometric verification. And usually out of like K on Discord we have up to 2K verified unique humans.
Okay.
And these people are not doing that just to prove us they're real. They're doing that because they actually need this verification for some of the activities. For example, one person, one vote of the
Okay.
community, or participation in the contest, so that you don't Sybil attack a contest with rewards. It can be any AMA session. So you will never know how many real users you have, because most of the users are not, let's say, too active, or they are not in the context when they need to verify themselves.
Mm, mm, mm.
So we will never know a real number unless you have an application where you actually need proof of personhood to use this. And
Understood.
we do have such applications, but yeah, I can tell you about them later.
Yeah, of course. Of course, we'll talk all about the things that you are building. You already mentioned about the bot basher, which is intriguing. So yeah, moving on. As I mentioned, we have been working with a lot of projects. We have been doing a lot of campaigns, and something that we all have observed. I think you must be knowing it too. That whenever we are running any sort of campaign, right, we involve some KOLs, big names, right? And I'm sure you must be knowing big KOLs, they are asking for, tens of fifteens of $1,000, right, to do any sort of campaigns, right? And as a person who has been running all those campaigns, we all know that, they have been heavily inflated, and I don't think there is much that we can do about it, right? As of now, right? So do you think there will be a time that we will be able to filter those bots and tell exactly how much followers that particular KOL has, or maybe we could give a percentage of maybe some marker or some points to them in terms of how legit the followers are.
Again, if there is no verification, no, you can't do it. And I heard of OpenAI thinking of creating a social network where basically before you post, you most likely will go through biometric verification, which
Yeah.
is a bit crazy, but it will be, let's say, a safe space for humans who are okay with biometrics, but more and more people become okay. And these are really hard things to check. I agree. Influencers and different people inflate the numbers with different methods. You can at least check how many verified followers they had
Yeah.
interacting with the post, something like that, which is something because each account costs what, $8 a month. And well,
This,
yeah,
this
there are
is all we can do as of now.
drastic measures needed in order to understand the real numbers.
Yeah.
And I mean, it has to be heavily imposed on every user so that it really works. But yeah, right now I agree. You can trust these numbers. And you know what's interesting was for me is that, for example, each YouTube viewer, yeah, is 10 or maybe 50 times worth more than the Twitter, just people who scroll the Twitter.
Mm, mm.
We used, for example, for analysis, not how many views the person gets, but how many views on the comments he gets. Because in order to see the comments, you have to actually click on the post at least
Yeah.
to do some engagement, not just scrolling through without reading, looking for.
Have you done any sort of KOL campaigns or any marketing push for your?
Yeah, of course, of
How
course,
do
of
you
course.
how do you what was the process that you followed to ensure that all the cables that you're using that are mostly good and genuine ones? Is there anything else that you have been following apart from what we people as marketing agency owners doing? Any insights that you have?
Well, whenever somebody wanted to hold an AMA, we said, yeah, sure, we will create a special Telegram group where everybody who enters it has to go through biometric verification. That's what we did.
Okay.
But in terms of Twitter, can we do anything? No, we just use all the same different heuristics. As I said, like looking at comments, looking that these comments are not made by other influencers to boost these numbers, and so on and so forth.
So you have made your own filter for those to enter your Telegram, then verify,
Yeah,
then they.
yeah. And then we test them for a month and we try to look at the real numbers. I mean, business wise
Mm,
numbers, how it affected us.
mhm.
And hence we do not add a lot of influencers at the same time. We add a new one and see what changed. And it's hard because the price movement is the best marketing, so it can change even without them contributing to anything.
Yeah, yeah. Have you heard about InfoFi, Fido,
Of
Cookie?
course, how couldn't we hear about it? It's InfoFi. It was
Of
supposed.
course. Yeah. So what are your views on it? Because as far as I'm concerned, it was to be honest, it was a promising idea that was shared by those people. It could not really live up to the mark that was set. What are your views as a AI as I
I mean, it was a better way to check the real engagement. They had pretty cool methods. I mean, InfoFi still exists. The Twitter ban of
yes.
API is not the end of it.
Yeah.
So, what really was not great is that your timeline was spammed with the projects that were on Kaite. If the project was not on Kaite, it got lost.
Yeah.
And eventually, what happened, which is good for me, is that all those yappers, well, people understood that they're yapping just for money. They don't care about whether they really like the project or believe in it.
Yeah.
And these people just lost their reputation and lost their, well, the core community, core followers. It's like
Yeah. That
they
is true.
became like those people shilling meme coins for thousands of dollars. Yeah.
True that.
So I think it will exist. It will just emerge into something better because, well, we do need to reward active community members who create content, and it's much better to do it by evaluating it like InfoFi
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Not many of it like we did with KOLs back then.
Makes sense. Yeah. So if you were a founder of, let's say, any of the InfoFi platform that got banned, what you would have done? Let's say if you are a founder of Kaito or maybe Cookie or any other InfoFi platform that existed, what is one thing that you are going to do that is making sure that whatever happened now it doesn't happen after this, or what kind of filter that you will put?
Well, first of all, I would move most of the operations from X. That's yeah, because other platforms are not even complaining.
Yeah.
InfoFi did not spam them too much.
Yeah.
And well, I would find a way to do the evaluation without using API, because now you can have an agent actually
Mm.
scrolling like a human in the browser, right?
Yeah.
And um, you don't need API for that. So you effectively cannot be blocked almost.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. But in terms of the mechanics of the InfoFi, it can
Mm.
still, be hijacked by, AI bots. Do you think it can be solved if they are doing any sort of reiteration to it, or making some changes? I
I
heard
don't
they,
think it's a problem for anybody if the AI agent successfully shields the project or company and has readers. There is no problem in it at all.
yeah, yeah,
It's just more effective than humans in achieving the goals of InfoFi. Then why would you ban it?
yeah, yeah. I've been hearing insider news that I think X is building a similar platform by themselves. That is the only reason they are banning all those competitors.
Well,
Maybe that could be one of
y-
the conspiracy theories, right?
well, they are already rewarding the creators, isn't it? InfoFi,
Yeah,
it's kind
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
is.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but so I'm not sure why they're doing that,
Mm,
because
makes sense. Yeah.
it brings them users. Okay, these InfoFi people were living on Twitter,
True.
and now they're moving away because InfoFi lives on YouTube perfectly now, because they can evaluate the YouTube videos even better probably than
Yeah.
X and TikTok, etc.
So they moved on basically, right? They got to make their living as well. Cool. So
Yeah.
okay, let's yeah. Do you have something to say?
No, no, that's it.
Cool, cool, cool. Okay, so I think this is the time when we, move forward with, Humanode and talk more about what you are building since 2017. I think we already mentioned that you have been researching about it since 2017, which
Yeah.
I almost didn't existed. So what was the origin of this particular story? What made you work on this? And did you know that this is something that is going to happen in the coming days?
So Humanode originally, like proof of personhood is just part of a structure that we need in order to achieve our goals. And what happened is that in 2017, 18, we went deep into proof of stake networks like Tezos, Cosmos,
Mm,
and other emerging ones. And all of them pretty much right on the go launched a delegation and governance when you had treasury, which is controlled by stakers, and delegation to stakers. And it turned out that we were a small group that worked together on having our nodes together, and we had over 1% in a few networks. And what we found out is that the governance was happening in a closed chats of big
mm,
stakeholders in these proof of stake networks. The foundation was there as well, of course. There was no proposal that could get through without foundation's approval of it, or without you knowing personally the foundation, because they have such a big stake as well.
yeah,
And others follow the foundation because otherwise the foundation won't vote for them. So it's just a small club of rich people who decide on the fate of the decentralized network and where the funds go in terms of development or ecosystem development. And this is not decentralized at all. It's just like a board of directors, but where you can become part of the board by buying a lot of tokens
Yeah.
and setting up a node. And we think that this will never be decentralized. It only becomes more centralized because look what's happening during the bear market. We get a buyout of major networks from traditional finance from the Wall Street,
Mm.
while the regular retail people who once participated or maybe tried to participate in these networks as owners of them, they're all gone. They were forced to sell. They don't have a voice on these networks. And you either have Ethereum Foundation uh, controlling things, which might be even better than big proof of stake guys controlling things, because this is why Ethereum Foundation doesn't do any decentralized governance. They understand that plutocracies won't work well and they won't do much.
Yeah.
Maybe stop development of Ethereum at all for a few years, and let's say this will decrease the selling pressure of the token and we will go up. Everybody will still use Ethereum, right? Because it's really hard to replace it. And well, this is why we started Human. Basically, one person cannot set up more than one node. You don't need the capital to set up a $8 server or even on an old laptop in your home in order to become part of the network. And we're finally launching the first prototype, like simulation of our one person, one vote governance. Because, our technologies evolve very fast, but our institutions, they don't evolve at all. We live in the institutions of the beginning of the century. I mean, not much have changed.
Mm.
And this is a tragedy. This is why we all have these crazy dictators and deep state ruling our countries, our politics. And we think that, you know, we're kind of in the industry inside crypto that nobody cares about now. But until it becomes too late, they won't care. And when it will be too late, we will be ready.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, understood. Yeah, I think let's talk about the governance model that you mentioned briefly, right? You mentioned, one person, one vote, right? Which sounds good, right? But what happens if, let's say, there are 1,000 validators? I was reading about it. I think you have around 800 plus validator, if I'm not wrong. What happens if I catch every person that is validating and do whatever I want. We have seen a lot of these type of things happening in traditional chains as well. So how do you
Hmm.
stop this, and how is you know this particular governance model better than others?
I truly believe that it's very hard to catch 800 people around the globe.
Yeah.
But unless you are just asking people to set up new nodes, right?
Yeah.
This is what people did to, it's called get rewards from the network. And our governance is pretty hardcore in terms of we have an intellectual and almost a labor barrier. You have to do something first to get a vote.
Hmm.
You have to make a proposal which is accepted and achieve the first milestone to be actually able to vote, to become the governor of the network.
Okay. Okay.
Otherwise, you can just set up a node. It it's gonna participate in the consensus, but you cannot take part in the distribution of treasury or decision making on protocol updates. And we have a tiered system, first of all. So if you just started as a governor, you cannot make proposals on things that could change the DAO or could change the economic system. You actually have to stay active for a year at least, or for some proposals, a couple of years, in
Okay.
order to be able to make proposals on things that can break the system, let's say.
Hmm.
Before that, you would just contribute through basic things that we do every day, like marketing development, community building, etc.
So you have to commit yourself to the human node to become a validator, right?
Well, to become a validator, it's easy, but to become a governor, yes, you have
Governor,
to
sorry,
do
yeah.
something and then you have to stay active as a governor, meaning that you have to actually participate in the deliberation of other people's proposals and
Mm,
vote on a certain number of proposals every month.
mm,
So it's like your duty, let's say, to get to the next tier and get to the level as, for example, we founders will get the first, but in 4 years, there may be people that have the same power as we do in terms of making proposals. And, once the system scales, of course, for example, to even 1,000 people, it's not that easy to talk to each other, especially when one person knows more about marketing, another person knows more about development.
Yeah.
And that's why we have specialization chambers in the decentralized organization. So, for example, I am pretty bad at coding. I
Hmm.
do everything else like economics or awareness or community building. And that's why I will not get a vote in the proposal, which is about to change the I don't know, structure of the Ethereum virtual machine of the network.
Okay.
So there is specialization, and you can have 900 marketeers, but will only have 50 developers, and only these 50 developers will decide on protocol changes, not 900 marketeers. So there are pretty much two major things: is tiers in order to change crucial things that can break the system, and specialization chambers so that people who don't know, they don't vote.
Okay. Okay. Understood. So tell me more about how things are happening at your end. Let's say I want to be a part of it, right? I want to verify myself. So let's say I scan my face. Where does my data go? And most importantly, how safe it is, or where does my data not go? How does it work basically?
So your data does not go on chain. This is important part, because
Okay.
putting your biometrics on chain forever,
Okay.
well, one day you can reverse it probably.
Mhm.
So what happens in our case is that locally on your device, we extract the 3D face map from your face. Works on pretty much any device if it supports the latest operating system, because previous operating systems are basically not safe security wise. And then we also take liveness data. So liveness data is 60 modules that prove that there is really a human right now in front of the camera, and it's not hacker trying to bypass the camera feed and inject a deepfake. So without liveness data, your 3D face map won't be even accepted. And this data is already anonymized. In order to revert it back to original photo or video, you would have to know the exact weights of the neural network. So you have to basically hack the code base and try to reverse engineer this piece of data, which is still possible. So that what we're doing is we're encrypting this data that we got already anonymized and sending to the encrypted enclave, which is basically a set of servers
Okay.
with encrypted memory, and nobody has access from it, because the key to decrypt this memory is inside the server only.
Mhm.
And if the server is shut down, data is lost forever. So this is our security model in that sense.
Okay.
Yeah,
Understood.
and eventually everything we know about the person is that it's unique human, and we have no idea who is it. So just uniqueness check. It's like either 0 or it's 1.
Okay. Understood. Understood. Okay, so let's talk about the elephant in the room, right? I'm sure you must have been asked about this many a times. Worldcoin, right? So I think they also started ob scans, I scan to give you a proof of personhood, right? They had massive funding, massive backing, but I don't think crypto outrightly rejected that particular project, if I'm not wrong, because of the privacy concerns. So how do you think it is different in your case, and how do you basically convince the crypto bros that are so fixated for the privacy concerns?
And to be honest, we haven't fixed it yet, but we have the plan to fix it.
Okay.
All the privacy things we use right now, even for example, X chats. And so Elon Musk says it's private. How can you verify it? There is no way to verify it. So we're
Yeah.
building like user client side verification so that you could prove that you're actually interacting with the encrypted server, and encrypted server is actually running the algorithms and code that they're supposed to run. And this can be verified right in your browser. And we think this will be a great next step because I haven't seen anybody using that.
Hmm.
And that's when people, and especially privacy oriented people, will use it. But to be honest, it's less than 1% of people, even in crypto,
Yeah.
because our biggest use case is usually protecting the incentives,
Okay. Okay.
the rewards. And when there is a reward,
Hmm.
people don't ask a lot of questions,
Yeah.
to
So
be
the
honest.
not 100% of the people they have to do their scans. All the people that are most likely looking to earn rewards and make something out of their communities or out of their personhood, they have to do the scan. That is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Most of the companies are not ready to impose any kind of additional
Hmm.
UX friction unless it's really important for their economics to work. So that, as you say, not to give 60% of airdrop to one guy who has been farming it with all the money he had. Yeah. So
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah. So I think we mentioned about the biomapper previously, the on-chain tool that you have been building. So how does it work? What is the main use case if you see where it could be used to clean the community, clean the society of CT that is filled with bots?
just as I said, so far we see that the main use case is incentive distribution, per
Yeah.
user incentive
Yeah.
distribution.
Yeah.
If your rewards depend on the amount of money pulled in, like in, let's say, restaking protocols, you don't need it at all. But if you have incentives based on user,
Hmm.
like AI projects have that are now in crypto, like gaming projects have, or like new chains launching and that want distribution of their token,
Hmm.
this is where we come in. And of course, the different identity attestation protocols that aggregate a lot of
Hmm.
data about the person in order to understand, oh, this is a power user, or yeah, this user is actually pretty cool. We should focus on him more,
Yeah.
get him coming back and back again. So these are the main use cases that we have seen. Of course, there are things like one person, one vote
Yeah.
that only us are using,
Hmm. Hmm.
because it's really hard. Okay, it's because the governance system of our world have been developing slowly,
Hmm.
but as you see that they developed from plutocracy to some kind of democracies.
Yeah.
And we think the same will happen to crypto because it's already happened before.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Do you see it as a layer on top of different protocols? Do you see it as a service, or maybe have you talked to any reward platforms that are existing in the Web3 space, Galaxy, Zili,
Yeah, yeah.
or maybe these type of people? Have you talked to them? What was the
Yeah, we got integrated there. And whenever projects want to use us, they just use us. The integration is so simple. It's crazy because it's a simple contract. Hey, this is the address of the person I need to check. Was he verified or not?
okay?
If not, give him a link to press on this button and he will get verified. So we are kind of plugging into everywhere we're needed. Like Quest platforms, most of them are dead. Only about 3 left out of 20 we had. And of course, these attestation services, but still the biggest use case is per user incentive distribution.
Hmm.
And we hope to see more and more governance models at work.
So
But
you're
that's
integrated everywhere on Zili, on Taskon, on every reward platform.
Galaxy, yes. Tascon, yes.
Okay.
Intract, yes, but Intract is off already.
Hmm.
So yeah, we're kind of the crypto industry moved away from these platforms
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah. I'm seeing a lot of projects. They are trying to build their own communities, right? So they are
Yeah,
basically replicating the whole dashboard thing on their own website. So is it
yeah.
easy for them to maybe adopt your codes and just put a layer on their.
So we had integration with Chargeling like that a couple of months ago, which is pretty popular in India. And they basically had a claim page after all these quests, etc.,
Okay.
seasons. They had a claim page where person would just, in order to get the airdrop, he would just go through our biometric first, bridge it to Shardian blockchain, and then he could get a reward. And everything the project needs is to create one button in the UI, in the front end, and also simply call the smart contract of our own. And the smart contract would say if this address is verified or not, can it proceed forward or not. To be honest, I was able to vibe code this integration half a year ago. So ask yourself, how easy it will be now?
Yeah. Yeah. True. True.
In one prompt.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Uh, okay. Let's talk about the institutions, right? I'm sure you know that they are heavily investing in crypto now. You know, uh, they are in every portfolio as of now. Every portfolio is filled with crypto right now. So, but the only issue that we all are facing is they all want compliance, right? They all want KYCs. They all want to know what you are, who you are, where are you from, right? And this is something that crypto industry has been wearied of. Do you think you can work in some way with those people so that you are, sharing the personhood, but you are not sharing all the details with those institutions? Is there some way that we can work on?
If there is any identity document check, it will always go through some kind of, let's say, KYC provider first.
Hmm.
And the only workaround about that is that your data is not checked every time you need to verify your legal identity, but you just reuse the verification you once have on many platforms.
Yeah.
And again, this is only possible if they use the same verification platform. Okay, so it's all about whether you have the monopoly that does that, like some sub or some other company leading ones on that or no. And anyway, if there is KYC, your face in plain text, not encrypted, will surely go to the verifier because, when you have a photo on the passport and your own photo, the biometric algorithms are not that good in order to, with high accuracy,
Yeah.
verify is it actually you on the document or not,
Yeah.
because the photo is really small and there's just not enough pixels in order to get a clear comparison. So our tech does not do any legal checks. We just do uniqueness check with very high accuracy. So we can do it in the fully encrypted domain.
Hmm.
The only thing you can do with it is reuse the same KYC data with the ZK proofs on different platforms if they integrate it. But there are like 5 products like that. They work great. And it's just a matter of adoption integration into all these different platforms.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. Okay, I think you already mentioned about the use case that we have when there is a incentive, for to identify as their a human, right? You
Yep.
also mentioned about the governance model that needs to be adopted, right? You mentioned about the proof of work, proof of stake, how kind of get inclined towards the people that have higher stakes or higher power,
Yeah.
as per se. So what do you think is stopping us to basically adopt human as a proof, in every chain that is existing here? Do you think there is a need, or is there any way that, or is there any hurdle that is stopping us from that point?
There is still a hurdle in the fact that exchanges want to have high numbers and
Yeah.
projects want to have high numbers just to show off and
Mm.
sell better. This is really a hurdle. There was a hurdle that it's actually a friction in user experience
Yeah.
because it takes another minute of your life. And some projects understand how it impacts conversion rates, etc. Not all the use cases need it, really.
Yeah.
If you're talking about use cases where only money is involved, like perp dexes, etc. They don't really need human verification. But as you can see, all the things that people use where they want to interact with real humans, this is where verification will be very, very frequent in the end, I believe, and it's coming pretty soon. So, people just have to be pissed off enough of the AI agent slop first,
Yeah.
or to be mad about the fact that they don't understand are they talking to real human or not before it all comes through, but it's totally coming. And there is also a cost to that verification. So this is an additional cost on user. There are many hurdles, to be honest. So
Yeah.
it will only work in the places where it's really needed.
Yeah, you don't have to put everything, this particular model to all the things crypto, right? Which is something that sometimes Web3 founders, lack. They try to overcomplicate things when it is not needed. It makes sense. Yeah, cool. So how do you keep the people or the validators or the governors motivated for being a part of your chain? You mentioned that every person or every human is being treated as equal, right? So
Yeah.
do you think there's a point that they start to think that participating so much, but still I'm just getting what all others are getting?
If the person participates a lot and actually builds something, he gets a budget from the treasury to do that on top of just regular rewards, of course,
Yeah, yeah.
because there is this. And we're treating equally, let's say, in decision making, but
Okay.
not in the rewards, because the basic rewards are mostly just to cover the costs of operating a validator node, but everything else that you do comes on top of it.
Cool, cool, cool. I think that was a very exhaustive session or a
Right.
conversation with you. Let's keep it a bit light, and I'll throw a few questions, few
Yeah.
one-liners, and whatever comes in your mind. You can be unfiltered. That is totally fine, and just let us know what you think about it. Right. So I'll just start with the first one-liner that I have. The biggest lie in the Web3 right now is.
The number of users
We talked
currently.
about it. Yeah, that was obvious. Yeah. Cool. The second would be one metric that proves that you are actually building and not it's not just a white paper that majority of the projects have. One metric.
For all the projects are Humanode.
Yeah.
Humanode. Hmm? We had 700,000 biometric verifications over the past 2 years.
You have? Wow.
Yeah, 700,000 so far.
Wow. That's a lot of humans.
Yeah.
Cool, 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 cool. Okay. So if you were in an elevator with a trade five bro, right? How will you explain it to him? What is human node?
Imagine a world where whenever you send transaction fee to another person, this transaction fee is not going into a bank, but is distributed among all humans in the world equally. And banks are just applications on top of that system.
I don't think they will like your answer.
No, no, they won't, of course, because we're here to replace them and to stop them sucking our blood, let's say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't think they will like your answer. But yeah, nevertheless. So yeah, next one is the biggest opportunity of proof of humanity that unlocks the founders that that the founders are not seeing it yet. What is the biggest marketing opportunity that you guys have?
Knowing who your real community is in order not to have just a lot of users who do one thing a year, but to understand that you have 100 or even 1,000 people who are actually always here with you and are
Yeah,
your core community. Because these are the people that you should talk to more. These are the people who will bring you 10 more people.
makes sense, makes sense. So you are basically talking to a lot more people that than you think using human.
Using Humanode, you can understand who the real people are and you actually talk to the right people. You
Yeah,
don't spend time on the wrong people and you can have more one-on-one communication, which is the key, to be honest, to building cool community.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool, cool, cool. What is the biggest underrated thing according to you in Web3?
Governance,
Yep.
Gaming also comes to mind, but people just forgot about governance. We just, okay, one token, one vote, whatever.
Yeah.
They don't even pretend now they're not decentralized.
True. I don't think people are even talking about it nowadays, about the governance, how it happens and what is happening, what is actually happening in the governance. True, true, true. What is the most overhyped thing that we have in country as of
But perp dexes,
Bob Dexys? Really?
perp dexes, yeah, nothing really cool about it. Just people speculating instead of buying spot and really pushing the industry forward by doing that. And
What about
because of that hype,
it's
they're just losing money, getting liquidated, and again the transfer of wealth from the poor back to the smart rich, let's say, who are able to outplay and not get liquidated because they have more in order to have liquidation price somewhere else. And it's just getting people wrecked and out of the industry every day. But this is the main narrative we have for the half a year together with prediction markets.
cool, cool, cool. Okay, so the last one that I have for you is to all the founders or all the marketers that are listening to your voice as of now. There have been a lot of similar tags, fake metrics. We all know that. Bot-filled communities. We all know that. What is the first thing that they should be doing tomorrow morning after hearing this?
The easiest thing they can do, no code, is to add bot basher to their Discord server and try to say, hey, people, we actually want to hear your opinion. So let's go do one person, one vote for this matter that is important for all of us and see how many people actually come without rewards. Without rewards.
Cool, 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 cool. Great, Victor. I think that was a masterclass, to be very honest. Really appreciate,
Thank you,
going
Sagar.
so deep in this topic, which is so relevant, considering all the things that are happening in the outer space, all things AI. Tell us where people can find you, try Biomapper, or, how they can follow you.
Follow me on Twitter. That's pretty much the only place I post besides Humanode podcasts. And my Twitter is tech_mingler. And in order to try Humanode, just come to our community on Discord. I think it's the most vibrant place for us right now.
Mm.
We have a lot of cool contests with democratic voting there. You will see how democracy actually works in action. And that it's not the best model for governance. And this month we're releasing our experiment in new model for governance, which you're free to enter and which we will be testing together on our weekly Saturday community calls.
Nice.
So yeah, there are many ways to engage if you're a believer in decentralization and the fact that every human should have a vote.
Great, 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 great. Thanks, Victor, again, for
Yeah, thank you. You're a
this.
perfect interviewer. I was surprised by the preciseness.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Really appreciate it. I've been in crypto for, I think, equal amount of time that you have been. So
Well,
we have been, following crypto as well. So yeah, I think that's a wrap. Do hit a follow. Share this with the founder who needs to hear this, and follow Victor. Follow Humanode. Follow us, and stay tuned for the next one. Until next time. Thank you. Thanks.
yeah, thank you, everybody. Bye bye.
Bye bye.